I know we went to a really high altitude, but I feel like because it was just something so authentic that you don't see in your day-to-day life, you're not really thinking about, oh, do I have altitude sickness or whatnot, you're just appreciating what's around you.
It means a lot to get this opportunity to be able to spend the time traveling to get here, and then see that travel time and the work that we put in all pays off, and seeing that pay off immediately.
I really liked how the main man, the father, was sitting in the corner already crafting some pots while we only started arriving. So I thought that it was really cool to see how he's so determined and motivated to keep on doing this for his everyday life.
Very important is that you have gained 10,000 feet in just 1 hour. So you need to, what do you need to do? Acclimatize.
Well, I can. It takes me a really long time. I have to look at it really.
That's a small change that we've done in the itinerary, and we'll come to that.
So the second day required a bit more physical action from us. After a bit of sleeping, getting used to the climate, we needed to just kind of explore Leh and see what kind of the whole region has to offer. We went to the market, and the market, I think, is another great example of the different culture that they have over here compared to what we're used to. I don't know, just the different customs that they have here showed us, and showed me particularly, how different life is here than life back home. Both in a good and a bad way. It's just kind of, it's different in so many different ways. It's just a nice experience to have, to experience something that isn't what you're used to. Then visiting the temple was a long walk up many stairs, but it was the first kind of insight that I had into the different religions that they have here, the different culture, the different things they believe in. And for me, that was just very interesting to see, I guess, a piece of the things that matter so much to the people here.
Doing pottery was a completely new experience for me. I wasn't expecting doing this. I kind of went in this trip thinking that the only almost meaningful part we do was electrifying the village, but getting to know these people, their family, and what they do with their lives through our pottery session was so powerful and valuable in not just learning the new skill of pottery, which I feel like I was able to improve on a bit, though my standard at start was quite low, but I also learned so much about what it means to be like the only family left in Ladakh who does pottery, and how they managed to continue this legacy and the skills that they learned. And yeah, I really appreciate that they took time out of their day to pass on those valuable lessons to us.
I really enjoyed the pottery. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I wasn't especially good at it, but I don't think that was really the point. I don't think we went there to all find out that we're pottery geniuses, but it was more about the experience and being able to see these people's culture and what matters to them and what they find important and pretty much what they do every day. And it was amazing to see them in like their natural habitat and be so passionate about something and have dedicated their entire lives to it, rather than doing what, like in a lot of remote villages, people will leave and go to bigger cities, and it was amazing to see their commitment to their culture.
I consider myself an atheist, but I'm familiar with a lot of religions just based on my parents and my family and the background I've had. And being able to see a religion which I've heard about, but I've never actually seen in person, and being able to see it from so far up close, sitting right behind monks as they were praying, was absolutely incredible. And also just how welcoming they were towards us. Prayer and religion are often such a private thing, which communities often gatekeep from others, but these people really wanted us to feel welcome and even prayed, took a lot of time out of their day to pray for us, which is something that is absolutely incredible. And the fact that they were willing to take time to kind of wish us good luck was just incredible and means the world to me.
I mean, the monastery was beautiful, like even all the little intricate details, how they painted the walls, all the little prayer wheels. It was such a nice feeling. I'm not Buddhist, but I felt unbelievably relaxed when I walked around and spanned the prayer wheels. And it was just, at the start, I felt as if I was sort of intruding on a moment that didn't belong to me. It was sort of their culture, their beliefs, and I didn't know much about it. But then when they started to sort of explain things to us and sort of welcome us in, I realized just how much they wanted us there and how much they appreciated us, and it just made me so grateful to them in the same way they were grateful to us.
The moment we got here, it was incredible seeing how the moment we got off the buses, the villagers were so welcoming. Greeted us all with scarves and with tea and cookies, and it was just incredible to see how we are people from a completely different area of the world that they have no reason to kind of accept and to kind of welcome in such a way. We're here on a school trip, really. Like technically I mean, as a senior obviously I'm not, but technically people are forced to do this, so they have no reason to be that nice to us. But the fact that they were still going out of their way to greet us so, like, back down before our hike and then hiking up was really amazing.
This morning we left our hotel in a village outside of Leh. Then we drove about an hour or two through some stunning views over a mountain pass until we reached a village about an hour's walk from here, where the villagers welcomed us, and they gave all of us tea, and they gave us the Ladakhi scarf shawl. I'm not sure what it's called off the top of my head, but I just felt extremely welcomed, and I feel like both us and them felt happy to be there, and it was a nice feeling.
I think I was kind of expecting that thing, but I didn't realize that the people would be so welcoming, because they were there with the donkeys to help carry the bags for us, but they were also there and offered us tea, and they were really friendly and really excited for us to be there, and it was overall really heartwarming and made me really excited to be able to have an impact on their lives, like after coming all the way to the villages.
The target today is to do 8 households. That means 2 households per team. So all of you will be carrying the solar panel and the frame to the households. Each house is getting this 40 Ah battery, which is at how many volt? 12. And now these panels are to tighten the nut bolts for the solar panel to the frame. The chill ones, the hard working ones will be going around here and there. So those, they can form different teams. We come to the teams.
Charger or the controller, and then connecting this to the battery. Yeah.
We definitely have a great team dynamic. Team Electrified was really going strong. I learned so much about the actual skills of setting up a solar grid. I was really scared at first because I felt like I had very minimal information on how to do it, but then we had an engineer who was so open and happy to help us. He guided us through every step of the way, and now after the 2 days I feel like I can almost do it by myself. Yeah, so those are the skills I learned, and I feel like we got super efficient at the start. We were very slow, and through the course of making mistakes, correcting them, and working and yeah, improving ourselves, we managed to get a pretty good team dynamic out of it.
Keep putting the seat lamps.
So we installed 2 solar panels today, and the first one we weren't really sure what we were doing because it was our first time, and we took a long time. It felt very long, very tiring, but I was just trying to soak in everything so I could do it alone the next time. And our team was just everyone was in such a good mood. Everyone was really excited. And just everyone was helping each other. If someone asked for a screwdriver, immediately someone else gave it to them. And it was just a great dynamic within the group, and I really enjoyed it. And the technology, I actually didn't find it to be that challenging. I don't take physics personally, so I just do whatever is told to me, and I try to follow it the best I can.
One hand.
Okay. You have that small screwdriver?
my job in my group, along with Ben McKinley, was to install the solar panels on the roof and build the frame for them. And I think by the third house, we were pretty good at it.
Electrifying the village for me was absolutely wonderful. It was such a unique experience in my life. You know, nothing I've ever done before has come close to what it was like. Just the tranquility that the villagers all seemed to have, the way that they just seemed so happy and so warm and so friendly. You know, while we were working, they would come up, they would try and help us, they would, you know, offer us tea, they would just be there watching us and trying to learn from us. And it was just such a mesmerizing experience.
This is the panel, this is the battery, this is the three, you know, like the lights that we will put on.
I have to strip this, right?
Yeah. Now we will fix on the batteries. So it has to come like this.
We're not doing really any negative things here. Everything we're doing is there's just positives that we're creating here. And I feel like once you've understood that mindset and you're working with each other, it's really not just a rewarding experience like I previously said, but like you don't get in each other's way, you work collaboratively, and it's just a nice experience in general.
I really enjoyed getting to know new people. So yeah, that was a really cool experience, getting to work with new people. And I really enjoyed trying something new, as I know I like to do stuff, technical stuff and stuff, but I've never installed a solar panel, and I really enjoyed learning the new things and learning about like electricity and stuff.
We hiked to the houses, which when we first entered were all dark and quite dusty. But as we worked as a team, installed the lights, I mostly worked on installing the solar panels. And finally, when we electrified the house, it was just amazing to see their faces, and also kind of a sense of achievement for ourselves as well, because it's quite an accomplishment as well.
because I was plugging in the light at the very end, I actually didn't see the villagers' reaction, but just from my reaction, seeing the light goes on, it just felt really good, because it felt like something, like it felt kind of unreal that I actually did that. Like I put in wires in the correct area and got my hands dirty in battery acid, and that caused the light to go on. And I'm sure a lot of people have mentioned the villagers' reactions. Unfortunately, I only saw 1 out of 2 because, again, I was plugging in the lights for the other one while it was happening. But for me, seeing the light go on was really impressive, just to kind of show the work that we did as a group.
It was really great to see people smiling and thanking us for the work we've done. And yeah, I think it was definitely a touching experience, because we come all the way here with the lights and we install them, and we really get this this gratitude that we will never forget about. It's something that you'll never forget about. So I think it was really good and really touching as well.
I think interactions with the local people were definitely something I've never experienced before. Them speaking a language that was so different to ours, I couldn't pick up on really anything they were trying to express to us. But what I did know is that they were really passionate about us being there. And for example, there was this really old guy, and he was adamant on carrying these rocks to weigh down the solar panels, but he couldn't carry them himself. And I was trying to explain to him, like, please let me take it. And we managed to communicate in the end, and they were just so happy to have us there. And there was a mutual understanding, even though we couldn't speak the same language, that we were both so happy to have this, like, share these experiences.
And so I'd had some of these experiences in the past, and I know the program that GHE runs and how good it is and how organized it is. And so it was a little bit, maybe for me, less awkward to go into strangers' houses, people that we didn't know, because I know the work that GHE has done ahead of time to plan the project and to make sure that we're going to have an opportunity to practice some of these skills and interact with the people that own the homes. And so it was, it was pleasing that the group got to, meet different families. I think there was, you carried a baby at one point. Like it was a nice experience to just see that interaction from a teacher's perspective, having done it before.
So the celebration that we had yesterday in the evening with the whole village was really a moment that I didn't expect. I knew that there was going to be some kind of celebration, but after we turned on all the lights specifically per family, I kind of expected that to be the celebration moment, and that already was so special. And then when I realized that the villagers had set up this entire kind of stage for us with their traditional materials, and when they started dancing, it was such a special moment for me when I realized they were so happy to share their culture with us. We kind of came in there, empowered them through giving them lights, and then we were able to understand their culture more. We were dancing with them, with the ladies. They showed us how to do the traditional dance with from the women. The boys were dancing with the men. It was really a beautiful moment when they were so keen to share that intimate part of their culture with us. And after some time, one of the ladies decided she would give us some of her jewelry. She took off her necklace and gave it to me and tied around my neck, and that was such a special moment for me when she gave it to me, and yeah, was able to share that that special part of her with me.
So at first I wasn't really that much into the celebration, but after a bit I really started loving it. And that's because you could just see how they could have such a great time solely with the drums and the flute, no music whatsoever, and they just made themselves so happy, and then we all joined in.
I don't know.
He welcomed us after dinner to a dance celebration that they had prepared. It was just amazing to see the different cultural elements that were included in that. Seeing the traditional clothing they were wearing, seeing the songs they were singing, the instruments they were playing, the way they were dancing. It was again so different than anything we were used to, but it was just so amazing to see how these are traditions that have been kept for years and years and years, that they are willing to share with us. And that was just something that I think was super meaningful.
It was nice to see them all together, and the whole community, ranging from the little kids who were running around whilst the old people were dancing. It was really magical. And then when we were allowed to go up and dance, the lady, I went and I stood, and then the lady put me between two others because she was like, no, we want you to dance with us. So I was there between two people who were dressed in the full cultural clothing, and it was beautiful. And then one of them turned to me and put her sort of necklace garland thing on me, and it was so special in the way that she wanted me to wear it. She wanted me to be part of it, and she was trying to teach me the words as we went around and the moves as we went around, and it was a really nice moment.
Guy came up to me and put a hat on me, and he took my hat and he wore it, and so I was kind of watching him throughout the dance, and he was watching me. I was kind of following his lead to figure out what the dance was meant to look like. So I was nervous to make sure that we got the dances right, but it was just a really emotional experience. Yeah.
Juliet. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Soup, there is rice, and rice. Because some rice came from the villagers, some rice was made by us. So there are 3 plates of rice. Then you have spinach and potato, like a dry dish. There is mixed vegetable, which has cauliflower, potato, and yeah, that's it, I think. Then there is finger chips or potato chips. Then there is chapati or the roti. Then there is lentils, that is from the villagers. There is beans, kidney beans or beans in a curry, which is called rajma here. There is egg curry. There is chicken.
I haven't been blinded.
Yeah, we're not in an interrogation room right now.
There's a cake that has been made at 13,000 feet by our chef. What does it say? What does it say, Jody? And who's the youngest in your group? The youngest. Who's the youngest?
Phil.
Anna, what are you?
July 2013.
It's Anna. The youngest gets to cut it.
Anna.
How many are we?
Prison weapon. Don't get distracted.
That's it, you can give it back and they'll cut it into smaller pieces and bring it for everyone.
It means a lot to me because I know the amount of effort it takes to coordinate the trip from all sides, from the villagers, from the work that JDEEP and GHE do, for the students that are coming. It's not an easy thing to travel what amounts to 4 days, 3 days of travel, 3-4 days to get into this remote region and then work on a project. And then we've got another 3-4 days of travel ahead of us working back. It's such a remote place, and the big part of the service, I think, is just being willing to put in that time and acclimatize and sleep for a day. And there's a lot of sacrifices, I think, that that students make to be a part of this trip. And it requires you to take risks, and it requires students to be curious. And those are things that I value as a teacher. I really enjoy seeing students push their boundaries and have new experiences and learn from those things and not be afraid to try something that, in another circumstance they might not necessarily try, but PDW gives a lot of students an opportunity to try to push their boundaries further than they have before, and take some risks to learn about themselves and to learn about others and broaden their perspectives. And so this trip is a special one for that reason.
Pashmina is more Indian term, and Kashmir in the West it's known as Kashmir. In locally we call it Lena. So it's just the name difference, nothing to do with the fiber itself. It's just the name difference. It's known as Kashmir in the West, even in the East, and it's known as Pashmina in India. But in Ladakh it's known as Lena, right? Some of the women who join our training, they have clothes, the quantity I don't know, but they do have board at home.
to sort of choose this trip specifically means a lot to us, to have all of you here out of your comfort zone, and I think where you are able to create more impact versus I, me, myself, because we are not that kind of a generation. And the fact that you guys are here already shows that you're on that path. What is the worst that can happen? What is the worst that can go wrong? You know. So I think life is full of opportunities. So go out there, fail. Only then you'll realize what's right and what's wrong for you. So you can put it anywhere, on your study table, on your car. I mean, yeah, wherever there's sunlight. So this is the solar panel. In fact, if you, yeah. So any light source, this will keep rotating and keep sending prayers across. So we've got one for each and every one of you.